I feel like a space feels most lived in and comfy when you like you've changed it. There's moments when you've like put new things, or there's like different things from different time periods. You can tell a lot about a person based on their room.
Even though I try to resist capitalism and like the urge to buy things, I get a lot of joy and pleasure from owning things that I care about and things that mean a lot to me. To be able to hold things that you love.
Okay. The Little Miss Sunshine soundtrack. And the crazy thing is, this soundtrack, as far as I know, it's not on Spotify. So you can really kind of only listen to it at my house.
I try to make it somewhat reflective of like the art and things that I like am enjoying right now, so I changed a lot. Look how quirked up it is, right?
I've been in a big collage mood the past like 6 months. Just utilizing everything like as a good means to get rid of everything. Postcards, Metro card, construction paper, CD stuff. Yeah, red flags.
It's signed and it says, to Jill, good luck writing the greatest honors thesis of all time. Texas girl, I used to hate it and I've really like embraced it lately. The early 2000s like southern sort of aesthetic is really nice, like halter tops and like straw cowgirl hats and like brown boots and like listening to country music because it's so good for the end of summer.
In theater we would call this a slate. I'd sit there and I'd just watch her paint her nails and I just really wanted to do it. I remember she wouldn't let me, mostly because I probably like would make a mess, but it's just not what boys would do, you know?
21 years young, senior in college, slaying the game. Grade. It was a cheap $15 doll. I think it's really funny, and okay, the main thing that's funny about it is that it's a body positivity doll.
I guess what can be known as my style. I want things more saturated, louder, bigger, faster, stronger.
Fear and Trembling by Kierkegaard is amazing, and Gravity and Grace by Simone Weil. These two books like really were instrumental in like bringing me back to the faith. The Virgin Mother Mary, and It Glows in the Dark. It's kind of sacrilege, maybe, I don't know.
I was in AP art for like 2 years. Like that's always been like part of my thing, but I never ever liked to like show people it. Well, how can I show something, or like how can I like put something out there that's bad? Yeah. But like you just have to sometimes.
I hate like saying that sometimes, like, yeah, I really like making collages, but then I'm also like, no, I'm really proud of them. I'm like, I spend time on them. It's a constant battle of being like your post-ironic self and your earnest self. It's not anybody else. Nobody gives a shit.
This is my Spotify. One of my favorite things in life probably is making playlists, which like time capsule, I feel like that's like a very like college thing, is like, oh yeah, I did student radio. I had this show called God's Eye, and the premise of God's Eye is that I'm like being God's eye. Oh, here's some of the quarantine playlists. When I like missed my friends really bad, I made them all playlists for the fall that were like coming back into town. Yeah, no, that is kind of like fun to go back to.
I moved to Austin in August of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic.
And like one of the things that I kept returning to that I journaled about like 6 different times was like, you get to go back to all of these things. Having had a taste of what it was like to like not have it, I'm really appreciating like this last year of living 5 minutes from you and you and you, and like, you know, having access to like all my friends like right over there.
I feel like a college campus is very, it's a bubble. It's easy to like meet people, and it's easy to like make connections.
Just being around your peers, and like once we graduate, I'm gonna miss that. Because you can't do as much of that in college or in the workforce, because everyone's different ages. And you can't talk about how much stuff sucks all the time.
That's the scariest part about aging out of college, is this idea that like there's a kind of switch that turns once you like find a real job where you like become, you don't have like a community, you like become isolated.
Like, adults overall, we'd probably be happier if we did.
I think
live
we could
in
benefit from that, especially
spaces,
single adults.
Single adults living in communal spaces and living with friends and living in in relative like distance from all your friends. Like I think that should be the norm.
So many people that I kind of like knew through some other means, or like, oh, I met this person doing this and this person.
It's these nets, and that's why I believe in maximalism, is because with friends and like a network too, it's like, yeah, you can have really close friends. Social networking, that's what they call it. I've had Instagram since like late 5th grade, early 6th grade. I don't know, I have never had a bad relationship with the Instagram app.
I hate Instagram. A lot of people I've met in person, I've like seen on Instagram or like looked at their page before, and then you like develop like some sort of preconceived notion of them. Like we don't think about it, but I feel like it's weird to have like seen someone before, but like, oh, I know you from like my phone.
I've met a lot of like good friends through Instagram.
When you're making a social media profile, it's like you making an avatar of yourself online, and you kind of have to like disassociate in order to kind of like make that avatar, and then you're like constructing your life story on this like public platform.
It's maybe a fake reality, but at this point it's like real.
With social media, it's like very curated. So what you're putting out there, people create these whole like fake personas, and like you don't really know like what they're really like.
I like to like delude myself into thinking that it's like my little creative platform. I'm like, well, I'm just like creating a persona, you know, I'm just like a posting queen. But I think I'm actually just addicted to my phone.
I'm off my phone sometimes, but
it feels like it clogs up my like brain, like with images, seeing images all the time. I'm like tired of seeing images, but it's also like obviously a sort of addiction to like go on and like see images.
I like always found that it's like a way for me to kind of externalize some of my like internal processing.
I realize I use Twitter like as if I like left my diary open. I kind of love just getting no interaction online, and it allows me to just like literally tweet into the void, just like yell into the void.
Maybe you're not supposed to know that much about other people. You're supposed to like find it out.
When our parents were young, or like before iPhones and like social media, I feel like it's healthy to have like a small circle of people that you talk to every day instead of knowing everything that everyone's doing.
There's so much like meaning and context and connection taken out of like everything. Clothes and expression have like gone so far away from like our real lives.
There was a really good John Waters interview where he talks about how like back in his day, like with subcultures, it was like the punks stood for something. It's always weird to me whenever there's a disconnect between like the things that people engage in and who they actually are as a person.
You just still end up like feeling empty because it's just like an aesthetic, really. It's like not changing your life, like it's not doing anything for you.
When it comes to like fully understanding people, it's something that is like really hard for me to understand. Like in our generation, like especially.
I think our brains just aren't made to be like for this structure of society.
Because it all comes at you so fast that you can't even like really understand it.
This book like saved her from just being like black-pilled, like nothing matters.
I do think nothing matters, and I do think that's like, I think it's comforting, but it's also kind of like absurd too. But also it's like, what's productive from saying like, oh, nothing matters.
Right?
We so easily can just call things corny or cringe or whatever, but it's not productive like to like get in those like cycles of like everything's evil, everything sucks, because we're on the earth, like we're put here, like we're supposed to be in the earth.
I think in the future, apocalypse or not, I think I'll be an okay dad, even if it's a wasteland dad.
I don't know. It's like so crazy. I feel like the 4 years of high school were so slow, and the 4 years of college have been like so insanely fast.
You've built up this like basis of yourself, or like taken the time to like find things that you like or things you're interested in, and then like once you've like kind of, and it's really really hard to like find that base.
Yeah, I agree.
What like world you want to live in, or like
who you want to hang out with, who you want to be, how you want to look.
I'm gonna miss it. I will miss it a lot. I think I'm gonna miss the pop-ins. You know, you pop in.
Hello.
You say hi. You see how it's going. Something little happens that's not worth texting somebody about, but it's worth going across the hall.
Life is good, even if it's hard. Love God, love your friends. Go outside, cook good food, draw silly pictures, put funny stuff in your room. It's pretty simple.